Now, I'm going to show you some of the secret sauce for those of you that hung around to the end. There is something that I have been doing on mixing and mastering lately that, in my opinion, I've been actually told by some really high-level professionals that we are walking in an area of an uncharted territory. Okay, this is something that not a lot of people are doing, but I am doing it because I'm trying to, and I urge all of you to try this stuff, right? Pushing boundaries. Try doing different things. There's no reason why you can't use, let's say a compressor just has like an EQ on it that, like, for example, the supercharger has EQ on it. Maybe I just want to use this compressor for the EQ. Maybe I just want to use it for the saturation. Maybe I want to see what, I'm just trying to think of something off the top of my head. Maybe there's like a distortion plugin that you like that you would normally not use for mastering, but you do. Just try misusing stuff is what I'm trying to say. You never know what can happen, but I am using a plugin, and I'll go ahead and just kind of promote this for a second because we are working with the developer of this plugin. This is called the rL360 plugin. This is the company right here, Artisans, so artisans.com. Check them out. I actually have a coupon code if you choose to use this. Now, if you check out any of my mixing streams, you'll see me using this in the mix, and it's pretty cool. Basically, what we're dealing with here is binaural panning. So binaural, if you listen to any of Apple's spatial audio, you are hearing a binaural effect happening in your ears. And what that is basically the model of your head. How do we hear things in reality? Like when I walk down the street, I hear a car whizzing past me. I hear a bird over here. Someone's talking to you. They move around you. Like how are you perceiving that sound going around your head? And the way that we emulate that in stereo is by using what we call binaural. Okay, so that is taking into account the shape of the human head and allowing us to simulate the way the sound moves around, and in this case with this plugin, even above and below your head. So in stereo, we just have left and right. There's really no depth. We create the illusion of depth by using things like EQ, mid-side EQ, reverbs, differences in volume, differences in EQ, all of those things. I already said EQ, but you know what I mean. We use all of these things to create this illusion of depth, but when the creator of this plugin told me about it, and I was like, let me just try experimenting with this thing, I started misusing it in a way that I felt would maybe stumble upon something interesting. And there's actually a song that's about to be released, I think in like a day or two, by Lamantro. If you do check them out, here I'm going to go ahead and plug Lamantro real quick. I've done a lot of work with them. But there is a song about to come out. If you check it out on the 31st, I want to see if they have it listed on here. Normally it says like new release or something coming out. Yeah, it's not out yet, but it's supposed to come out on the 31st. But when you hear that song, that was one of the first songs that I started experimenting with the binaural panning on. So you're gonna hear things that feel like they're slightly behind you, like. It's really cool. So I urge you to check that out. I'll plug it again on the next stream. But yeah, check out that song. It's really cool stuff. So what I'm doing in the mastering is I'm using not one but two of the binaural plugins to try to create a sense of spaciousness that I may not be able to achieve with normal stereo processing. So let's take a look at this. Now, if I had my little counter for Ableton points, I'd probably put number 3. I think we're probably at number 4 at this point up here, because this is what you're seeing here is one of the benefits of working in Ableton Live. We have 2 channels, 2 copies of our sound going on the same audio channel. So I don't need 2 separate channels. I don't need to use an aux send or a bus send in order to create this effect. I can do it on this channel, and that's just done by grouping 2 plugins or grouping a series of plugins, and then I can just boom, I could put another instance of it below, and then I immediately have what's essentially two parallel chains going side by side. So that's what's happening here. I have my dry, completely unaffected version of the signal, and then I have the wet, which is the processing. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here in Ableton Live. Now, what is happening on the wet channel? What is this binaural crazy stuff? Well, let me just make it clear here. Okay, I'm not trying to do what Apple's doing with spatial audio, right? They're trying to make you go, whoa, this is new, this is different, this is weird, I like it, I don't know why. You turn your head, the music goes this way. Like there's that aspect to this technology. What I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to enhance. I don't want my client saying like, dude, this is weird. I don't want my client saying that. I want my client saying like, this sounds amazing, and I don't know why. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do with this particular plugin. So I'm going to bypass this, and I want you to hear what it's taking away. And it may be subtle enough, it may be a detail that you pick up on, or maybe you don't. Okay, but let's hear what happens when I bypass this spatial audio plugin. Okay, so this is with it on. Here's off. Here's on. Here's off. Here's on. So to me, whether you're picking up on this or not, it's okay. Sometimes when you're still learning these details, you're still ear training, you may not pick up on these things. But there is a sense of depth. There's a sort of a glue that I get, if that makes sense, to the track. And it's something that I would probably have a hard time achieving with other means. So what's going on here? All right, well, we have a left and a right version of this crazy binaural plugin. This is what it looks like. So basically, I'm taking the left side of my mix, and look, like if you're just talking about conventional mastering, you can just stop right now because now we're talking about some weird shit. I mean, this is like, we're doing different things now to try to give people an experience, to try to make people, experience the music in a different way. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here, but I am trying to add something special that maybe someone hasn't done before. So yeah, we have. So on to the weird part of the stream. So we have two instances of this rL360 plugin. They're basically, I have the left side of my stereo mix being processed, the left side of my mix being processed, and the right side of my mix being processed. One by the left side of this and by the right side. Okay. There's a routing in Ableton I'm doing. We can have another conversation about that, but let's just kind of like make it as simple as we can. So I'm putting the left side of the master behind and to the left of you, and I'm putting the right side of the master behind and to the right of you. So let me just solo the spatial audio part of this so you can hear exactly what's being blended. So here it is. Here, I'll turn it up. Sounds kind of weird, right? It's like the voice is very present, but everything else is kind of like behind you. It's not meant to be 100% like that, right? We're just adding in that nuance, hence the parallel processing. If I just bypassed this whole deal right here and sent it off to Jose, he'd be like, this is cool. Done. But this is one of those things that I feel like people will appreciate in headphones, because binaural is mainly perceived in headphones. You're not going to get this wow factor in speakers as much as you would in headphones. But again, it's a detail. I'm not going for wow factor, but I am going for nuance. And I hope one thing that maybe you take away from all this today is that detail. And I've said this in previous streams, the detail is what makes the big difference. We have a lot of details happening here, right? We have, subtle saturation with this compressor. We have subtle EQ. I just realized I did jump over this compressor right here. We have subtle saturation, subtle EQ going on here. We have fairly subtle EQ happening here. Yeah, this is pretty subtle. This is a little bit extreme, but that happens. Okay, but a majority of things have been pretty subtle up to this point. We have compression happening here, but only 30%, right? We don't have 100% of all that compression. We only have 30% of that. So details. It's all about the details, and they add up. So when you're mastering, you don't have to go for this crazy change with one sound. Try different processors a little bit to try to achieve what you're going for.